So this is Michelle Moore and Ashley Wilkes, and we are going to be teaching you the very, very basics of how to set up your class in Google Classroom. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, Ashley, right, is how to set up our actual classroom. Great. So we're going to start by clicking, right, first of all, I'm going to back out actually, and you're going to go from your Google, from just your Google homepage, you can type in Google Classroom. And you can navigate there just by clicking this very first link. So once you type in Google Classroom into Google, you will click this very first link. And it should automatically log you in if you are on your NEISD laptop. It should automatically log you in. And if not, make sure that you log in with your NEISD email address and your password that you use to get into your laptop. So from here, we are going to create a brand new class. Don't be distracted by anything that's going on in my screen right here. The main thing you need to worry about is this plus sign. Now, if you have never opened Google Classroom before, it's been a long time since I was new to Google Classroom, but I'm pretty sure I remember that you are going to have to tell Google Classroom that you are a teacher, and then it will ask you to create your first class, which is essentially the same thing as clicking this plus sign. So I'm either going to tell it I'm a teacher, or I'm going to create my first class like this. So I'm going to click the plus sign, and instead of clicking join class, which is what your student would do, you're going to click create class. So in your class name, you are going to name it what you would normally name it. I personally like to name mine by my period. So I will say 1- random class, or I won't say random class, I'll say insert class name. Now, as a directive from Ms. Shelton, we need to put our tutoring hours in our class name. So even if you already have all of your Google Classrooms already set up, and you've already been using Google Classroom maybe on a novice basis, you still need to change the name of your class, and we're going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But if you're setting up your class, you can start it with your period, your class name. So for me, if it was my advertising class, I would put advertising right here. And then you are going to put your tutoring. And for me, since I'm career tech, per Miss Shelton's announcement, my days are odd from 1 to 3 p.m. In this section, what I recommend doing is labeling the year, which we are 2019, 2020. And if you want to reiterate your period, you can do that again here. So you can say first period. And subject, it is up to you. I know that it does pre-populate. So if I type in Eng, it automatically comes up with what your subject is. I'm gonna be honest with you, both myself and Ms. Wilkes don't use that feature. We usually leave it blank. So if you feel like finding your subject in here, feel free, but you'll notice there's, you know, only a few options even for English. So if you're like us, you can go ahead and leave this blank. Room number, again, you can leave this blank as well. So from here, we're gonna click create. Nothing is frozen, it's still taking its time. Okay, and then we are now officially in our Google Classroom from the teacher view. So this is what you will see, of course, as you're the teacher. Ms. Wilkes, what are we talking about next? Perfect. Okay, so if you already have a class that has been created, and you are now in that pre-created class, you are going to go ahead and click this settings icon. Now, I do have instructions for those of you that are brand new to Google Classroom as well, so you are also going to click this settings icon. So no matter what, you're coming here for settings. So let's click the settings icon. Now this right here is where you can add in your tutoring hours if you had not previously already written them. So just check yours. If it says you're tutoring, then you're good. And my battery's running low, but that's fine. Okay, so now we're gonna scroll down. Everybody's gonna scroll down. And under this general section, you're gonna see your class code, which is what students can type in to find you, or we are probably going to be adding students in manually, which I will show you how to do that later. But in your stream, and we'll get to what a stream is next, but I highly recommend that you take away students' ability to post random comments. Because if it is 2 a.m. and a student is feeling funny and they post something on your stream, everyone will be able to see it and you will wake up to a nice surprise. So I would recommend that you click this right here and you change it to only teachers can post or comment. Other than that, everything else is good to go. We can move on from there. So we're going to go ahead and go up to the right-hand corner and click Save. Okay, Ms. Wilkes, what's next? Okay, so we're going to hop over to this tab right here for People. So all the way at the top right here where we see People, click that. And the first thing that we're going to do is if you have a co-teacher, and if you don't have a co-teacher, per a directive from Ms. Shelton, it is very important that we all add at least one teacher to our Google Classroom. Some of you may be adding two. So the person that Ms. Shelton is non-negotiable asking you to add to that classroom so that they are in the know that this process has been completed is your dean or department head. So my department head is Danya Martin. So I'm going to type in Danya Martin's name. You can see her lovely picture is right here. I'm going to add her as one of my co-teachers. Now, the other person that you would want to add is if you do have a co-teacher. Now, some of you may be wondering, oh, I am a co-teacher. Should I be going through this process? And the directive, and I'm just going to confirm with Ms. Wilkes, the directive was you will be setting up a separate Google Classroom for your co-teach kids. So this is still a very valuable process for you to do so, correct? Great. So I don't have a co-teacher, but we're going to pretend it's Ms. Wilkes. So congratulations, Ms. Wilkes. You are now a co-teacher. And I'm going to click Invite. But you'll notice that it was such an easy process. And let's say like I accidentally added Ms. Wilkes and I forgot, oh no, I clicked the wrong one. I click on her and I click X and she's gone. So I'm going to add her name by clicking Ashley Wilkes and she's right here. And then I'm going to click Invite. So both of these people are going to be sent an email now telling them they have been invited to be a part of my Google Classroom class. And of course, you're going to see that they are both grayed out right here, whereas I am big and bold for my personality. And it says that they're both invited. Now, I'm going to ask Ms. Wilkes to go ahead and accept her invitation so that you can see what it looks like when not only teachers, but also students accept the invitation. So she's accepted it, and it should auto-update, but I'm going to refresh. And ta-da, hers no longer says invited. She's in there. We can see that she is active and ready to participate in this Google Classroom. Whereas Ms. Martin, who's currently not with us and doesn't know that I just invited her, she's going to wait until she sees that email and then she'll be able to join the classroom from there. Ms. Wilkes, can you say what you had to do in order to confirm that you were a co-teacher for this class?
I just logged into my Google Classroom and I saw a invite in the home screen of Google Classroom.
Perfect. Okay, accept. So you just had to click accept and you were good. Awesome. So that's how you join the classroom if you are being invited as a co-teacher. Okay, so the next thing is adding students. And I know this is not going to be the fun thing that I tell you and you're hoping I'm going to tell you something else. But unless you would like to learn a whole other piece of technology, the way that you're going to invite your students is one by one. I know that's not fun, but the way that you do it, it is not hard. The way you do it is you click invite student right here. And I am going to invite one of my students who I have permission to invite, Matthew Fossier. Now, the reason I wanted to invite Matthew Fossier in particular is because you will notice there are two Matthew Fossiers here. He is in fact a student, he is not a teacher, but he has two email addresses because this is his student email address. And then this is the email address he has as a KIN employee. So since he works for KIN, which is a part of the district, he has an employee email address. So it's very important that you make sure that you are adding email addresses that say @stu.neisd.net. So I'm going to click his name, and I can input other students as well. So all I have to do is keep typing and keep adding. We're going to add all of my DECA officers right now. I'm just kidding. We're not going to add all of them. But the point is, oh, and also, let me delete this. It is important that when you are adding students, there may come a time where there are two. And these are pretty similar email addresses. If you look, it's 9242 and 9491. So how do I know the difference between 9242 and 9491? I need to go to my Skyward, which is probably what I'm already looking at for my roster. And I need to check their student ID, which, where do I find that information? If I click on their name? Okay, so if I click on their name, their student ID will be available, and the last 4 digits of their student ID is going to match whichever email address they have here. And that's unfortunately how you're gonna have to go through this first setup process. So I know that it's cumbersome, but it's what we have to do. So I already know hers because I got her into a lot of things, and I would normally click invite. I'm not going to invite these students right now because they don't need to be invited. So I'm pressing cancel, you would press invite. You press invite. Okay, Ms. Wilkes, what's next? Okay, great. So the first thing that you actually are going to see every single time you open up Google Classroom is this tab right here called the stream. For those of you that are familiar with Facebook, the stream can best be described as your news feed, the thing that when you open Facebook and you're scrolling through everybody's pictures and status updates, that's what your stream is. So the only thing is that since we just turned off students' ability to post and comment, that means that the only thing we're going to see in the stream is everything we post. So it's going to be limited just to our posts. Now within the stream, we have the ability to make announcements. So if I wanted to announce something to the class, so how about the first thing that I announce should be the fact that this will be the way that we are going to be learning until we resume our in-class instruction. So I'm going to type that under share something with my class right here. So I'm just going to make a general announcement. So share with my class. Hey class, this will be the way that we are learning and submitting assignments until we resume in-class instruction.
As you post in Google Classroom, the things that happen in the stream will get kind of pushed down.
Got it. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to post 2 announcements so you can see that happen and understand what Ms. Wilkes just was talking about. So as I post an announcement, I have the ability to post just a quick like, hey guys, how's it going? And then I can click post right here. And what she meant was as soon as I post something else, so I'm just going to say second post, and I click post, my first post moves down, and that will continue to happen. That will continue to happen all the way down. So if this is something that is very important, it's very important that you don't only put it here. And we're going to show you where else you should put items of importance that you really want to make sure your students continue to see.